Hello everyone, today I want to introduce my theory, Extreme Online Community Division. There will be 4 parts of my introduction. The introduction, description, example, and future implication. First introduction. My theory is that the influence of social media has led to a very extreme feeling of the human being into different groups and ostracizing each other, unable to see different views properly. I have argued in the class that, like the nationalism that has been increased in recent years, fueled by the pandemic, the formation of human community and the confrontation of opinions has long existed in our life. Especially in the age of social media, where people has used the easy and efficiency of the technology to find group of people with similar interest and overcome the geographical limitation. But the innovative approach of bringing the world together has evolved into today partisanship and exclusion, where difference in opinion can lead to the virtual personal attack and even offline threats of the intimidation. And it is a failure of our design to unite all people, to eliminate the discrimination, and to build a global village. People affected by the phenomena has become single-minded and extreme in their thinking, and the social climate has become increasingly aggressive. Even its effects go beyond the virtual world, affect the way children interact, social bullying due to the difference of opinions, and increasing the racial discrimination. I know that the reasons for the emergence of the above events are complex, but such extreme division are one of the reasons for their emergences. That's why I'm going to make my topic. When I talk with my professor, I mentioned that if we treat everything around us as information, then we have to admit that any communication will have the numerous interfering and disturbing noises, and anyone's communication will have the difference, and we will have the quarrel and divisions. So should we interfere with such a natural possession, and can we change such a situation? So the professor gave me the 2 words, natural and desirable, which means that we acknowledge that such problem must exist, but we need to find a better scenarios. I want to find the resource of all these behaviors and emotion to uncover the real situation and the power struggle underneath the phenomenon, and to restore a complete picture of online communication and online community division, to judge whether such a situation is in line with the basic need of individual and the development of human being as a whole. So who is the model for? In abstract, my model is for those who are being controlled by the idea of community division, so that they can see the truth, and also for those who do not agree with the extreme division and want to change the status quo to help them clarify their thinking and common needs for a breakthrough in solving the problem. And more specifically, my model serves the users of the social media, keep them awake and maintain a critical view of the online environment, to serve educator, help they can gain the insight and guard underage users correctly, to serve the internet regulators, help them they can avoid the chaos and find the right way to create a good internet environment. And next, I want to introduce my model more detail. So what does my model help us understand better? My model answers my queries along the following 3 lines. First, why human being would want to seek to have a community of their own. Quite simply, why people being are together. This step is explain the inner needs of the people grouping into the different group. They making from psychology, from the sociology, from the political culture, and other different reasons. And this concern is for each individual. And secondly, I will explain why people gradually develop extremes after grouping in different direction, or why human group become extreme. In short, why human beings separate and this focus on the group. Finally, I will put the model in the context of the social media and explore how social media and the whole network power behind it affect the whole process. And my focus will be on the hierarchical analysis of the sources, and about which I also have a certain division, and I have them hierarchy. The hierarchy is the need or force behind the tool utilized, the awareness generated, the behavior made. First of all, there is the power and need behind it. Here the need is from the psychological need of individual, culture need, geographical reasons, and so on. But also the economic need of the network, the social media company, or the political control need of the government organization. Next, tool indicates the various tools in the social media, such as the AI algorithms and characteristics of the social media itself, which also reflect the extended mind theory. I believe that when the tool become our extended mind, the characteristic of them will become the characteristics of our behavior. The next step is what kind of awareness we generate guided by the social media and the need behind them, which is the semiotic basis and emotional drive to know what kind of behavior we made. And the last is the behavior that is done, like the extreme communicated division and even the conflicts of the opinions. And I want to choose the three part of my model to introduce the variable and the relationship. The first is the label thinking. I find in the need map from the psychologic that the human will have a higher need to socialize, which is the reason we grouped. But at the same time, the social psychological need also have a source like the label thinking. The label thinking also allows us to see that we focus on the individual habits of the thought. As a cognitively strong and a diverse creature, human has many thinking directions, such as creating a set concept and then adding various attribute value to this set label panel to fascinate our understanding. But too much use of this thinking mass will actually lose the ability to explore deeper and more specific in the individual thinking. The more things are written on the tag panel, the less and less the group become alive. So the individual in your eyes slowly turn from the life to label, and your understanding of the group will gradually become rigid. Our label come from a wide range of the source, like the culture memory, the geographical installation, and the same aspiration. And the label thinking mainly come from our mind trying to better understand different concepts and recognize different identities. Such label thinking, this kind of label thinking can cause different group to form and a gradual difference of the opinions. And secondly, I want to introduce the variable and the relationship in the social media. When I talk the social media, I want to find the three resource or three characteristic of the social media that will influence our communicative formation and the opinion complex. The first come from the sensationalization, which means to present in a manner intended to arouse the curiosity or board interest, especially through the inclusion of the exaggerated or low-read details. With media's emphasis on the conflict-creating events, its inflammatory words, and its efforts to find story that capture the audience attention, we are naturally lead to focus on the conflicts and the confrontation rather than on the very peaceful everyday daily life. Our mind has been domesticated. And the second source, I think, is from the free will. Is presented no limitation expression. Everyone could present and express their feeling and emotion in the platform, in the social media, and the opinion could convergence. Furthermore, the social media could gather and collect a different kind of the sort that will also consolidate the different community formation. Also, because the social media, in my opinion, is a space-based medium, so it could provide very speed information transmission and influence international. All this resource or after all the power behind the social media could reinforce the different community formation. The surveillance capitalism part, I think is very complicated, precise, so I would explain it step by step. For the commercial companies, economic interests come first, and the interests of the social platforms come from the audience, from the users. They need to collect information from users to sell in the market and trade. So users' loyalty is their important source of the interest, and platform fee represent the influence in the advertising revenue. The number of the users is the number of data, is the basis of all the economic need. And the commercial company will use the AI algorithms to manipulate all this so as to achieve the situation or the emergencies of the surveillance capitalisms. And such an environment gave rise to the element like the KOL, the group internal resonance and recognition, and the people trapped in the world of the As a participant in the subculture group, I want to share an example from my life. The subculture circle I'm involved in is the celebrity fan base. It is a place full of the extreme views and the conflicts. Just because they admire different celebrities and they have competitive relationships with each other, I say almost the daily curses battle between different KOL in the fan group, full of the curse words and arguments that don't solve any problem. And what is the logic behind this? According my model, I think the first thing is there are two different economic forces behind it. One is the platform provider of the online battle, like the Twitter, the Weibo. For example, their purpose is simple. As long as the fans need to fight every day and need an outlet for their emotion, they need a platform, and the day-to-day quarrels or arguments or conflicts is what helps them help the social media platform collect information and data, expand their information, increase the prevent domain traffic, and then gain the greater economic benefits. So they creative the exclusive tag for fans, and the exclusive domain fans will be controlled and trapped in the exclusive environment, helping them to distinguish each others and repeat extreme behavior in the extreme thought for a long time. And the same economic power comes from the entertainment companies who need the activity and loyalty of their fans to gain the influence and visibility, so they can channel their fans' tag thinking by giving their fine names and build a fine KOL and using the specific hashtag to guide differentiation from the other celebrities' fans. They reap the benefit of the extreme strong fan loyalty. Under their guardians, the need for a sense of identity and independence from others is reinforced, and the extreme divisions between fan groups are growing. But such a need is created as the false need. Use my model can easily see this. Many fans are very young and will form incorrect values and behavior and see the truth. So my model want them to see the truth, is to let them live critical life, not a one-dimension life, not be blinded and exploited. And the regulation of such a mass will be more targeted. In my analysis, human beings seems to be a very positive state and seem to be unable to escape from the manipulation of the fate and the influence of the technology. We live the one-dimensional life. We are blinded, so we couldn't see the breakthrough, or we think the power is so big, so huge, so huge that we can't destroy it. But I still remember what Professor Hardy said in the class. Of course, we have a way out. Social media is just a baby, an infant. Everything could be changed. I have read many articles that call for us to see the truth, so I want to continue to go on, just like the question I raised in my proposal at the beginning. Like the community division is natural, but how do we judge what kind of division is the desirable? Can a theory be developed to help people be alert, to be controlled, to be extremed. When everyone is aware of the problem, what kind of attitude should we take toward those technologies and companies and institutions that blend us? If we want to regulate their behaviors, where should we start and what rules should we set to bring us a desirable community? There are all questions that I think can be discussed further. I don't have the answer yet, but I'm sure there will be someday.